Good morning, traders. Today is Tuesday, November 16th. My name is Charles, and this is the Pirate Traders live stream. The Pirate Traders live stream is starting right now. Yeah. All right. So it feels like the market is in balance. I brought this up yesterday at the end of the day. It just really jumped out at me when I noticed how big the cumulative volume profile over here on the left of the screen, which is the orange section. That's just kind of combining all the days together and showing you where the most volume traded. And it made me realize at the end of the day yesterday, we have built a giant node in there. And you can see why, right? Where did we spend most of the time yesterday and put in most of the volume? Right here. The day before, right here. 2 days before that, right here. The day before that, right here. Okay, so the market has been putting in, over the last few trading days, quite a bit of volume and spending quite a bit of time in this area here. So that just shows you that the market is balancing, right? But then the question becomes, actually, before the opening bell rings, let me just give you guys the skinny for this morning. We just had rotation inside yesterday's range. So that basically tells us nothing in terms of overnight activity. It's a little bit net short, but it's really nothing to get too, worried about. So I would expect we're going to have chop early in the morning here. Probably just market grinding up and down for a while. So it's not going to be super exciting first thing in the morning. But anyway, so I'm stepping back and I'm saying to myself, I'm looking at the daily candles. And I'm asking myself, if the market's balancing, what is it trying to do? Where is it trying to balance? And how can I trade it? You know what I mean? And it's a little bit tricky because my instincts would tell me this is the balancing area high and this is the balancing area low. But that's a really large range with a lot of volatility to balance in. That being said, if the market starts to trade lower, I wouldn't get into fear and panic mode until we got below that 20 moving average, which will line up nicely with the 20 daily moving average, line up nicely with that balance area low. I would be ready to look for support there. And if we got it, I would certainly be bullish for a trade back up. But in between this area, same thing with the high, right? If we push up to the all-time high and either look above and fail and pull back down, or we just don't quite get up there and bounce off before, either one of those scenarios, I'd be happy to short, assuming that we're in a balancing area. But where we're at right now today, it's very tricky as to figure out where is the market going to find support or resistance. So I zoom back in on the profile and I say to myself, well, this area here has been acting as good support, or should act as good support moving forward because of how much volume has traded here. Essentially this big node that sticks out here, that should act as support. So this morning, if we trade down to yesterday's low, now it is a poor low, and that increases the odds the market needs to get a little bit of excess in there. It needs to get just a few ticks lower. But if we trade down there and we don't find support at yesterday's low, it is a good short to me, because we left behind all these single prints on the 12th. Okay, so if we get below the the poor low and we don't pull back up into yesterday's range, I'm looking for it to continue down at least to the base of the single prints in the D period, if not the base of the single prints in the C period. So that's 46.58.75 and 46.56.75. Okay, if it doesn't find support here, I would be looking for a much bigger sell-off, right? That would be a sign that we need to head back down to that sort of balance area low, which is all the way down there. So it's either going to be around 46.45 or all the way down at 46.25, okay? Does that make sense? So if we come down to yesterday's low and we just dip below and come right back in, no problem. We can trade higher. But if we start to get lower, we're definitely going down to here, if not down to here, and if not down to there, right? So that's what we call monitoring for continuation. Once the market starts to sell off, you just stay in the trade as long as it keeps selling off. And then as far as the upside is concerned, we can use the node of volume. Come on. Right up in here as potential resistance to the upside in the morning chop. So if we can push our way above that node of volume, come back down, call that, 85, 80 to 85 area, come back down and find support in there, I would look for the market to continue higher. And it could go as high as that all-time high. So as long as we're kind of stuck in this range, where we're around this big cumulative node of volume over here, we're likely to just continue to chop around. But a breakout either direction could take us to the balance area high or low. Okay? So pop above could take us up to that all-time high. A pop below could take us down to those lows I just pointed out to you. And neither one would be bullish or bearish. That's the point of a balancing area. It's still just the market absorbing all this excess. So it may need to bounce around in here for days, even weeks, perhaps. I don't think that'll be the case, but it's possible. So that's where I'm at. Just literally taking it one tick at a time. All right, so let's sit back and enjoy the chop and see what this market's got for us. Again, getting above 84, 85, coming back down and find support is bullish for continuation higher. Getting below yesterday's low and then finding resistance is good for continuation lower, but anything in the middle is likely to just grind up and down. Good morning, David. Good to see you. Welcome. Diego back with us. Good morning to you. Amir is here. Good to see you. Cyrus, hey. Philip, good morning to you. Chris, good morning. Jay Trader back with us. Good to see you. John is here. Good morning. Jose, good morning to you. Scooball, hello. Two Manifs, good morning. Arthur, welcome. Jonathan, ahoy, matey. Smash hit a like button. Don't know why I always go Irish when I try to go pirate. But yes, please smash that like. Let's get those likes up. We're at 30 likes for 110 people. We can do better. Those are rookie numbers. We can beat those. Bullish on the likes. Nicholas, good morning to you. Ray Miller, good morning to you. Coming down us from North Carolina. Danielle, welcome back. Good to see you. Futures traders back with us. Good morning. Henry, good to see you. Bob, good morning from 10 Trinidad. Do you mean the country Trinidad? Or is Trinidad like an area in Tennessee? I'm confused. What's 10 Trinidad? All right. Well, the market's getting a push this morning. It's a little bit unexpected. Internals aren't really giving us much of a signal. So now what we're looking for, now that we got above this node of volume from yesterday, is support. Market pulls back down, finds support in there. That would be good for a long trade, in my opinion. If you're very cautious, you could wait till it gets above yesterday's high and then look for support there for continuation. But this node should act as support now. Was there some good news this morning I'm not aware of? This feels like a short covering rally. Marco, say it with a Conor McGregor walk. That dude does walk like a boss. Like he owns the place. Vincent, good morning. Krister, good morning to you. Peter, good to see you. Scooball, it's FOMO. Yeah, it's definitely the tempo and the thin volume is a clear sign that it's either short covering or FOMO buying. I'm just curious why. What suddenly happened? Yeah, I mean, I've got my financial juice up. Got the juice. Looks like we got retail numbers looking good. Production numbers looking good. But I'm not sure why we got that little push. All right, well, they're building up support at a higher price. They're bringing in volume at a higher price. That is bullish to see. But once again, I don't really want to buy it until they come back down and test this area right around the halfback. So we can call that 46.83-ish for support. If the buyers continue to step in there, that might be a good buy. Chris Yee, can I discuss the difference between a liquidation break and short covering? You better believe it. They're basically the same thing, just in opposite directions, right? So a liquidation break is when... Let me just delete that. All right, so again, we're looking for support right in this node around the halfback at 83. So anywhere between like 84.50 and 81.50 in this area would be good support for continuation higher. But yeah, a liquidation break is when the market breaks to the downside, right? So I'll just expand out yesterday's profile. So what was happening yesterday was we were trading up in here, and then the market broke lower, right? Well, why did that happen? Well, what happened was the buyers were getting nothing for it. They bought in the B period low, they bought in the C, they bought in the D, and the market just went nowhere. It just didn't get very high. So as soon as it started to trade below those levels, they freak out. They liquidate their position, right? Also, anybody that was holding long from the overnight, from the weekend, So they start to liquidate their position, and then the market falls. And then more people panic and liquidate, and panic and liquidate, and panic and liquidate. And the market just keeps selling lower very, very quickly. Okay? And then there's two basically things that can happen from that point. Either the market rotates right back up to where it started the liquidation in this area here, in which case the buyers become very strong hands buyers. They continue to hold their trade. Or what happened yesterday was that we got the liquidation, but then when it tried to pull up, new money sellers started to pile in right here, right where that node of volume was from yesterday. And so that caused the market to just rotate in that area for the rest of the day. So that's a liquidation break. A short covering rally is exactly the same thing, but to the upside. Okay, so a short covering rally is when, all the sellers who were selling in here, we'll use the overnight as an example, and the sellers who were selling in here, as the market starts to push above them, which it did this morning almost instantly, out of nowhere, it was like boom, boom, boom. That was all of these people being like, oh shit, I got to get out of my trade, and liquidating their short positions, which is the same as going long. And so that pushes the market higher. So just like with a short covering rally, what we would expect, just like a liquidation break, what we would expect is now it comes back down to the starting point, to where it broke, which was right about in here. And then, those sellers who sold up here would be very strong hand sellers. The alternative would be new buyers step in up here, and then we get continuation higher. Okay. So right now it seems like there are buyers stepping in at these higher levels, which is bullish. I'd still, once again, like to see them come down here and test this halfback before I jump in the trade. But so far, so good. Alpha trader, but the market came down after the report, so I don't understand. Well, that would mean if the market came down after the report, it would mean the bots and stuff didn't see it as bullish. But then when the market opens, it immediately starts to sell higher like this, it means the traders do see it as bullish. It seems like these markets these days, all they need is any little piece of bullish news, and they just take the market off. They're just waiting for an excuse. Okay, so we got good taper on the high here. I don't love the 16 contracts. Normally we get a little more two-sided trade than that. But it's good taper on the high. So that means they might be ready to pull back here a little bit. They're running out of buyers as they work their way higher. And if you can't bring in buyers at a higher price, you got to pull it down to entice them to buy it on sale. That's one reason why the halfback, this little white line right here, so commonly acts as support, because it's 50% of the day's range. So if somebody's looking at this right now and they're thinking, I got to buy up here, when they see it pull back down, that's a 50% off sale. People love to buy a 50% off sale. All right, the buyers are stepping in here at higher prices. So it looks like we're going to get another push. That is bullish. So now we're looking for this node to start acting as support. And we'll see if that can hold for continuation higher. Remember that when what should happens doesn't, that is also a signal. If the market should have pulled back down into this super thin volume here and backfilled a little bit, and it did not, that's a when what should happen doesn't. Clearly, the market is giving us a signal. There are buyers who want to do business up here at these higher prices. Screwball, what am I thinking about the NQ? Let's take a look. Whoopsie. There we go. Damn, the overnight made a beautiful 45-degree angle. All right, so it's not technically a 45-degree angle. So normally if the overnight makes a 45-degree angle right from the low, like this, that's very bullish to act as support in the regular trading hours. And they almost did that with this here. So it's not quite an official signal, but that's still, there should be a lot of support in there. So I would say that's the area to look for support on a pullback. You got this node from yesterday and that 45-degree angle. So if it breaks that, say if it gets back below the opening price at 16,155, you're looking for further downside continuation. But if we find support in there, we could continue to push higher. It also just looks like they made a poor high. They did. The high is weak of the A period here because it is one tick from yesterday's high. So that's a sign it's short-term traders who did the selling up there. All right, let's head back to the ES. So I'll remain bullish this morning as long as we find support around this node I mentioned earlier. If that breaks, then I will look for further downside continuation. Phoenix, good morning to you. Welcome. Monsieur Knife, anything up at 4703.75. 4703.75. No, not really. That doesn't interest me. All right, we're starting to lose the ticks. So that maybe was just some short covering and not as much new money buying. So now is when the buyers have to step in as support, because if this node of volume breaks, we're definitely heading down lower, looking for support in here. Chitin puts on sale. Yeah, I mean, if you're looking to short this, it's a great price up here. But still feels bullish to me. Much more so on the ES than the NQ, but it does still feel bullish. So I don't take shorts when I'm feeling bullish. Oh man, the breath is pretty bearish though. That's interesting. Hmm. Danielle, one of the greatest traders on Wall Street, he says in 1 month we have 13 trending days, 5 non-trending days, 5 reversal days. Yeah, I don't buy that. Every month is different. Just go back and look at, the past month. We've had nothing but straight up nonstop. Before that, we had crazy chop. Before that, we'd straight up. That's the market's random. I don't buy that philosophy. Element still saying in that volume seems like support bullish. Yes, it is, but the ticks are telling us that it's not. The ticks are telling us that there's more people selling in here right now, so it'll probably break and pull down lower. But like I said, I stay bullish as long as we find support in this node down here. It would make sense to me we need to pull back down there to bring in the stronger hands buyers. So I'll remain bullish unless we break below that. Rocket done for the day, 30 minutes in. Off to enjoy his beachfront property. Brownfield, you should do a pirate trader corner. Go over your strategy, market setups, etc. I do that all day, every day, brother. I do it live in real time. Oh, Rocket, you mean? Oh, yeah. No, for sure, Rocket, man. If you got that kind of success, you should create a little following. I'm sure there's lots of people that would love to be able to just make a killing every day in the first 30 minutes. Nunez ticks down. Yeah, it's true. The ticks are, well, now they're starting to poke back above the zero line, but we are getting some different signals here from the internals. The ticks are trending higher and above the zero line, so that's bullish. But the breadth and the advancers versus decliners do not look as good. So it's definitely short-term FOMO traders participating here, but that's the thing about momentum. They'll keep it going as long as they can. If you're in a long trade from this support, might be worth moving your stop a tick above break even here, as the volume is still getting thinner the higher they push. So a trailing stop at this point might not be the worst idea. All right, let's see if the NQ repaired that poor high. Now they're almost there. Okay, just created a poor high here in the ES. So we often get a push away from the poor high, but then they very commonly come back to repair it. If they just instantly repair it right now, that is slightly more bullish. Shit, Mom, Market's doing that thing again. It's sending us mixed signals. It's being weird. Yeah, I think this is FOMO up here. I don't think the larger players are participating right now. Okay, so the push away from the poor high is expected, but if we don't find support once again in the same area we did earlier, the market's definitely going to have a larger pullback. Yeah, boy, crypto's taking a dive. Back down to 61 on the Bitcoin. The Russell's getting sold like crazy. Tesla's getting bought. Is Elon taking a break from selling his company off this morning? Okay, NQ still hasn't broke that poor high. As a matter of fact, it made it poorer in the B period. Armando, so does the terminology change to poor? No, that's just something. I'm just being silly. It's still just poor. It does. You can think about it though, like adding an extra weak reference. You know, the more weak references you add, the higher the probability that at least the first of them will be repaired. The more times the market pushes up exactly to a poor high and then pushes away, the stronger the probability that eventually it's going to get repaired. Because you just know it's short-term sellers that are doing the selling right at that level. And so they'll take profits sooner or later, and then the market comes back. But it's, yeah, it's still just called poor. Tesla breakout? Breakout! Oh, yeah, I see that downtrend. I think it's probably too early to call it a breakout, though, if you're looking at the daily. Mm, yeah, it could be. $50 likes. We can do better than that, chat. Let's get those likes up. Got 140 people watching. Surely a few of you think I'm an all right guy. Want to give me a thumbs up, make me feel good on the inside. Jitten, how many points do we sell off if we outs Jerome? I mean, you know I don't trade news like that. I have no idea. They might just replace him with somebody who's going to print even more money, and it might be great news. You don't know. Peter, what did I miss? Well, we had a short covering rally that brought in new buyers, but they're not doing a very good job of it. They created a poor high, which is acting as strong resistance on both markets. So they're trying to push the market higher, but they haven't convinced me that they're going to succeed just yet. Value is higher. Is it overlapping? No, it is higher. We can see within the B period here, we got good taper on the low. So the sellers are running out as they pulled back down into this support. And they need to repair that poor high. But can they keep it going? That is the question. For that, we need the ticks to join the party. They need to start trending above the zero line. If not, we probably just get some excess and then pull back in. Okay, so there's the repair of the poor high. Can we get those ticks pumping? All right, I'm back to neutral. I don't think they're going to take this anywhere. I think they need a pullback. Sometimes the market has to rally before it can break. They have to give these FOMO buyers that were piling in here a chance to take their profits, and then the market pulls back. So it's starting to feel like that's what they're doing here. Once again, this is your support. If it breaks, target this area down here. It's worth keeping in mind, if these are short-term traders that are buying up here and they don't get anything for it, they can't get this market to take off to the upside, it's going to cause some force to the downside when they finally give up, because they will exit their trades very quickly. S&P Attic, I would add long if I wasn't limiting myself right now to one contract. Well, if you want to go long in this support, just have a nice tight stop. Because like I said, as soon as that breaks, it's going to break with some force. All these buyers for the last, 40 minutes, right? They're getting nothing for it. Got gorgeous taper at the high here. Just visually seeing the buyers running out up there. Okay, so once again, if we start to break this like 88.75 level, we're likely to pull back down towards 84 pretty quick. as these buyers start to give up. Which VWAPs were you using? I don't use VWAP. The closest thing I got to the VWAP is the point of control, but they're often in a very similar area. Harry, is halfback good support? You know, it's potential support, but I wouldn't call it good support because there's such thin volume in there. So I would say I'd look to yesterday's node in this area as support, more so than the halfback specifically. But yeah, I mean, it might be good for a quick bounce. Zeb, yeah, I hear that. I got no qualms with the VWAP. I just, as I've discussed on this channel before, I've just learned I can't look at too many things. If I'm trying to watch, the VWAP and the moving averages and the RSI and the MACD and the this and the that, my brain just can't do it. It gets too many mixed signals. So I have to keep what I look at very, very simple, because then I can do a much better job of assessing what I'm seeing. So if I was going to trade VWAP, that's all I would do. I would just literally only watch VWAP all day, every day. Okay, so we're right at halfback. We were kind of one time framing there, so that's the cessation. Actually, no, we only got one tick below it. So not quite. We are still technically one time framing higher, but like I said, I don't think that halfback is going to be that strong a support, so I think we still need to pull down a little lower, which will get us that cessation. Okay, so just leaving you with the market generated information as I walk out the door. Value is higher, that is bullish, but value moves throughout the day, so we could pull it back down. It was higher yesterday as well in the morning, but it ended the day inside the previous day's value. So value is higher, which is bullish. We are currently one time framing higher, which is also bullish, but again, I don't think that this is good support at the halfback. I think we need a little more of a pull. If we continue to one time frame higher, so if the C period doesn't come back down and test this low, we could keep the trend going. If it gets one more tick lower, then expect the market to just rotate around inside this range. And just if they get below that A period low, look for, does it dip below and pull right back up? Or does it dip below and then find resistance at that low? If it finds resistance, look for further continuation to the downside. And obviously, like I said, if the C period can get back up above the B period, look for continuation to the upside. But otherwise, assume chop. It's not impossible they keep the trend going, though. They're starting to reverse the internals here, so they could. For me, this is a sit on your hands moment. I grabbed that short, I was trailing my stop, and it just got stopped out, so now I'm just going to wait until I have more confidence. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you here tomorrow morning. If you're not a member of the Brigade, all you got to do is click that link in the description. Join on up. Become a member of a community of traders that love and support one another on a daily basis. And for those of you that are in the Brigade, I shall see you on the private stream. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye-bye.